Priests can be quite odd. We sometimes have interests that others might consider rather strange. One of the things I love to do is walk through a cemetery and read the tombstones, especially the old ones. I remember one particularly interesting stone on which was inscribed the name, date of birth, date of death, and then one line which read, "I told you I was sick." Apparently, no one noticed how sick this person was. Jesus tells us about the virtue of noticing and the sin of not noticing. We all want to be noticed, and it hurts not to be noticed. Married couples come to realize this very quickly. One day, I set a project for myself. I was going to consciously notice things all day about the people I encountered. I was amazed and moved at what I found. The day began with morning mass, and I noticed what a colorful variety of people make up the people of God. I was moved. After that, I visited the school, and I noticed how many young parents there are who care enough to give their children spiritual education, whether in Catholic school or in religious education programs. I was moved. Then I did a funeral and noticed the outpouring of grief. I saw how deep the love in that family was, and I was moved. I went to a post-baptism reception and noticed with what love the parents had furnished a beautiful room for the baby. I noticed the cake the grandmother had made with so much love. I was moved. Then I did a house blessing for a young woman who, for the first time, had left the nest of her parents' home. I noticed the pride she took in having something she could call her own. I was moved. Coming home from that, I visited a number of sick people in the hospital and noticed not only the various sufferings of the patients, but also the attention and care the nurses gave. I was moved. Afterwards, I blessed the couple on their 25th wedding anniversary and went to their reception afterwards. There I noticed the love still burning after a quarter of a century, and I was moved. After finally going to bed, I was awakened by a call to assist at the bedside of a dying woman. As I anointed her, I noticed the fear, then the resignation, then the incredible peace coming over her. All of this moved me, and I was very happy that I was noticing all of this. Try to notice things. Maybe set aside a day like I did and concentrate on noticing the people along the way. You may just be as moved as I was. There are other things to be noticed too. Let us open our eyes and notice the misery and suffering in the world. We hear the story of the poor man and the rich man. The one has nothing good in this life, while the other has everything that is good right here. When they die, the roles are reversed. The sin of that rich man was not being rich. There's nothing wrong with that. And he probably wasn't even mean to the poor man. His crime was the crime of not noticing. Now this must have been shocking to Jesus' listeners. They had been raised in a tradition that many in our own day still have, that to be good, to be holy, means precisely obeying a whole list of thou shalt nots. The people of Jesus' time had hundreds upon hundreds of these minute, detailed laws, and they felt that if they complied with all of them, they were in good shape. They must have been shocked to hear about this rich man, because he was probably following every one of those laws. After all, they believed that wealth was a sign of God's blessing. Jesus' story must have confused them terribly. This man did not sin by disobeying a bunch of man-made laws. He sinned by not noticing. The morality of Jesus was not the morality of fundamentalists. It was not the morality of law, nor was it the morality that was constantly raging against what we like to call the pelvic sins, which are so much more interesting to talk about and point fingers. He didn't care about things like that. He was the one who told them to stop casting stones. Jesus' morality had nothing to do with all that. Jesus' was a morality of compassion, and that was very difficult for those people to swallow. That morality of the law, the morality of pointing fingers, costs us nothing. But Jesus' morality of compassion, the morality of the father of the prodigal son, the morality of the Good Samaritan, the morality of talking to the woman at the well, the morality of stopping people from stoning someone, the morality of noticing a beggar at our gates, that morality of compassion costs us a lot. It can cost us reaching into our billfolds sometimes, but much more than that. It costs us looking up from the rich man's table, looking up from our screen, looking up from our own lives and noticing someone else. Not noticing may well be the biggest sin of our age, in large part because of the two screens that had come to dominate our life, the television screen and the computer screen, both of which try to monopolize our solitary attention and put blinders on us. Look up from that screen of indifference, that screen of self-centeredness, that screen of our own table. Look up and notice that there are others around you who just might need your help. Perhaps it is a beggar at the door, but more than likely, it is someone who needs an understanding word, a smile, the recognition of that person's dignity. Perhaps it is someone who needs a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen. Perhaps that person even lives in your own house. None of us has to go far to notice someone in need of something we can provide. This is the morality of compassion, the morality of noticing, the morality of Jesus. Sin is not necessarily doing something bad. Sin is far more often not doing something good. Since Vatican II, the words of the Confiteor at the beginning of Mass have changed. We now ask pardon not only for what we have done, but also for what I have failed to do. Sins of omission can be the most harmful of all. Take a day and notice. And if we begin to notice one another, at the end of our life, we can be sure that God will notice us.